Hi everybody. Whether you are an aging adult or caring for one, which means your parents, grandparents, someone else in your life, the topic of this video is why are routine plans good for elderly health and daily life in general? I will share 10 benefits of why routines to support daily activity and health can be really good. Now, to be honest, these tips are no secret. We all know them, but the problem is we don't all do them routinely, and we don't all see the short and long-term benefits. Because truly, taking care of yourself, your health, your well-being really does have short and long-term benefits so that later on in life, if you are a caregiver today, you may not need a caregiver, or you may need less time from your caregiver. So when you think about it, if we are the primary caregiver for an elderly parent, our family members, our spouses, our children, our coworkers, everybody else in our life are affected by our caregiving responsibilities. And if there's a person who needs care, other people are affected by this need for care. So if you're a caregiver, these tips can help you manage your schedule better, relieve stress, relieve worry, relieve anxiety, so that you can continue to care for your parents and go on with your life and maybe even get your parents to do a few things for you. If you are the person who is older but you're still healthy and you want to be more proactive about your health, these tips can offer suggestions to help you improve from a physical and mental perspective by doing routine things that you probably already may be doing, but not to a degree that they're positively affecting your life. And if you're the person who needs care, these routines can help you continue to do more for yourself, so you won't be dependent or waiting on your kids to show up and do something. Or you won't feel like you are such a burden when you have to keep asking other people for help. If this is your first time here on my YouTube channel, I am Pamela D. Wilson. I am a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. Information about me and my professional career is down below in this video, plus links to my online caregiver support group on Facebook, my online programs, my podcast, and other supports for caregivers and aging adults. Please do like this video, follow my channel, comment, even if it's only to say thank you for this video. Your participation helps other people find their way here to these videos from all over the world. So let's get started. 10 benefits of why routines to support daily activities are good for your health and your mind. Number 1, routines minimize fear and uncertainty. How many times do your aging parents call you and say, "Did you get that? Did you remember to do that? Are you coming over today? Are you bringing this?" Not knowing what's going to happen can result in a lot of fear and uncertainty, especially for caregivers who enter this new stage of life when you're caring for elderly parents and you're thinking, "Oh my God, what is going to happen next?" All the skills you've gained previously in your life going to be very useful. Being a caregiver gives you this opportunity to learn to adapt to ever-changing situations and unexpected surprises that happen usually at the worst possible time. So routine can sometimes be thought of as, oh, it's boring, it's, blah. But some people can also think of routine as being in this rut, and it's different. Being in a rut or a situation where you're doing these repetitive activities over and over again with no progress or no positive movement is being in a rut. But the idea of routine that I'm sharing here is positive routines, positive results, things that bring good things into your life. Now, there's also change. A lot of people don't like change. People don't like change that they're forced to make. People don't like changes being put on them. So we have to find this happy ground, this happy place between routine and change. So in the context of caregiving, we want to think of routines as being very positive things. And having these routines can help you and elderly parents Sleep better at night. You know what's going to happen tomorrow. Your parents know you're going to call. They know when you're going to come over. They know if you're bringing groceries. They know all of these things. So you can sleep at night not wondering about, oh my gosh, did I forget to do that? Or waking up at 3 a.m. thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot to do this. I do that sometimes. Number 2, especially for the people that you care for and other people in your life, your spouse, your children, your coworkers. Routines can provide this sense of stability. It can reduce worry, kind of like we talked about with the first aspect here. But when we have these daily routines that usually includes a list of what we're going to do, we can manage expectations. So sometimes you may say, oh, I'll call you later. And the other person hears, oh, I'll call you in an hour. Your expectations are way apart. You're thinking later, maybe like later tomorrow, later this week, later, later, later. The other person is like sitting by their phone waiting for you to call. How many times does this happen with your aging parents where they think that everything is going to happen now? And that is impossible for you to do because you have to take your kids to school and you got to go to work and the dog needs to go out and your spouse needs something else, right? So having these routines and setting very firm expectations, even grouping schedules into morning and evening tasks or time can be helpful. So for you, you wake up every morning at 5:30. You go to bed at 9 o'clock. At 10 a.m., your parents know that you are going to call them to see if they need anything today. You go to lunch at noon. You pick up your kids from school at 4:30. You have this routine so everybody else in your life kind of knows where you are and what you're doing, and they know what to expect. So when we have these routines and these timelines, succeeding is easier because we know what we're doing at a certain time of day, and we actually feel good that, wow, I made it to work on time, picked up the kids, called my parents. Everything is good today. You're checking off all these items on your to-do list. And then you actually maybe have some time for you. Number 3, routines can support your ability to manage time, to be organized, and to be efficient. So for this one, I'm going to use an example of cooking and meal planning because this can result in helping aging parents with meals. Also, helping yourself with, gosh, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? I know because I already made it. What's for lunch tomorrow? I know because it's in the freezer. So many caregivers I know, and I used to do this. You're rushing behind, you forgot to take something for lunch or you forgot to make something, so where are you going? You're driving through the fast food restaurant, which is not really good for you. And your parents, who may not like to cook anymore or can't, are eating these store-bought boxes of food, frozen dinners. How many of you are familiar with those little frozen chicken or turkey pot pies? They may be good in a pinch, but every night for dinner, not as a regular part of your parents' diet. So think of an example of a routine as creating a meal plan and shopping for groceries, and maybe Sunday at 4 o'clock. You are like the chef in the kitchen, making things and cooking and freezing and portioning and doing all that kind of stuff for the whole week so that you don't have to cook because you're a busy person. And if you do this for yourself, how easy is it for you to just double batch these things, put them in containers, freeze them, and drop them off at your parents' house? Now, just the opposite. Let's say that you're super busy and your mom or dad is a good cook, but you're helping them with other things. Could you not meal plan, take food over to their house, let them cook for you, and then you pick up the meals? So there are ways to have routines where caregivers can help their elderly parents and their elderly parents can do things to help caregivers. So you know the process for this. Create the meal plan, go pick up the food, get the ingredients, and put it all together, whether it's you or your elderly parents. Again, it relieves the thought of what's for dinner tonight? What am I having for lunch tomorrow? Are my parents eating healthy? Are they eating good foods? Are they eating at all? Because nutrition is a huge aspect of good health for your elderly parents. Have they lost weight? Are they malnutritioned? Are they skin and bones? Good nutrition supports a healthy lifestyle. So when you think about this meal prep and planning routine, having routines for other parts of your life can make your life much easier. So if you get in a pinch for time, can you have groceries delivered to your parents' house? Or can you have that prescription picked up and delivered to your parents' house? Can you hire a caregiver to go over once a week and do their laundry so that you don't have to do that task when you're there? You're doing higher level, more important things. So think about other time-saving tips and things that you can put together as a backup for those days when you are just simply out of time. Tip number 4, having a routine can support day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, consistent action. We all know that the biggest thing to accomplishing a goal is getting started, and then maybe you start and you just drop off and you're inconsistent. And so you find yourself starting and stopping, and you honestly feel like, gosh, I never make progress with this one thing, and it's driving me crazy because I'm not inconsistent. So the thought here is to say, you know what, if I say something, I am going to do it. I'm going to be a person of my word. Tuesday is the day to do this. Wednesday is this day. And then when you start doing that, you're going to be able to see, hey, I did that. It wasn't as hard as I thought. I don't know what I was delaying or procrastinating for. Consistency allows us to measure progress for ourselves and for our elderly parents. Do you ever wonder, honestly, what your parents do all day? Well, let me use an example of a new medication. So let's say you took your mom or dad to the doctor wrote a prescription, it's for arthritis. And your parents aren't really good at taking their medications. What you've seen is that they get a prescription and that stuff sits in the bottle and they don't take it. Well, you know what? You're going to make a little calendar for them with a checkoff on when they're taking the medications. You're going to ask them to write down how they feel. Do they feel better? If they had arthritis in their hands, are their hands easier to use? Can they do more things? Is there less pain? So it's kind of like a project of, hey, we have a solution for this. Does the solution work? If it does, great. If it doesn't, you go back to the doctor and you figure out what's wrong. One of the best things I have done for myself this year is to find and buy an activity watch. Now this watch is amazing. So if you watch my videos, you know that my stress reliever is exercise and being out in nature and all that kind of stuff. So this watch tracks my daily activity in percentages of 100. It tracks how long I sleep. It tracks the calories I burn, the time I do in different times of activities. Now my goal is to see 100% or more on this watch before I go to bed every single day. Honestly, there's times when I'm like at 90% at maybe 5 o'clock. So you know what I do? I get up and I go out for a walk so I can hit 100. Ways that you can track activities, whether it's an activity watch, an app on your phone, some spreadsheet that you keep, alarm clock, something. These tracking devices are good for you. So what might this look like for your aging parent? Well, you know, that whole Internet of Things and all this technology is pretty easy. With your parents' permission, you could purchase motion sensors that you put in their house. You place it in their home to track what time do they get out of bed every day. Do they go over to a place to take their medications? When are they in the kitchen, the bathroom? Are they cleaning? Or does this motion sensor say that your elderly parents go to that chair in front of the television and they don't get up for hours? Now, while this might seem a little big brother-ish, would knowing that these tracking devices are in their home motivate your parents to get out of bed at the same time every day and take their medications and eat? Or can you get them a tracking watch? What types of devices or apps might be motivational for you or your aging parents to support consistency and improvement of actions? Because these consistent actions establish a couple of things: a model for positive behavior for other people to follow your pattern, and positive health and physical activity. So positive. Now, positivity, right? Routines. Hey, I made 100% today, or I made 200% today. Positive habits, positive mood, self-esteem, all this kind of stuff. So to achieve your goal, regardless of what it is, you're helping an elderly parent take their medications, or they're going to the doctor, or they're doing whatever. You have to get very clear about What is that goal and what does it look like? You may need a 1, 2, 3 plan so that you can help your parents act consistently every day. So our parents, when we're their caregivers, they rely on us to show up, to do the things they want us to do. We give confidence to our parents by showing up, by being consistent with our behaviors. Saying one thing and doing another, not consistent. Doesn't help with trust, doesn't help with people thinking that you're reliable, whether this is in your caregiving relationship with your parents, or your job at work, or your personal relationships. So if you have difficulty matching your words with your actions, what's your 1, 2, 3 action? I say I'm going to do this. By when am I going to do this? And how am I going to do this? And how am I going to follow up? So this can help you be the person who does what you say. So like in that earlier story where you said, hey, I'm going to call you later. And later to you means later today, later tomorrow, maybe later this week. The other person over here, the person with the expectations, later means in an hour. It means today. They're waiting on you. You are not being reliable or consistent. So if you tell somebody you're going to do something, when are you going to do it? How will you follow up? What tasks do you have to do? All of these things can be so positively motivational to get you to get started. Now, let's look at your parents. Your parents may be older and they may say, you know what, I'm retired. I got nowhere to go today, so you know what? I'm not going to shower. I'm not going to fix my hair. I'm not going to brush my teeth. No makeup. I'm going to stay in my pajamas all day and watch TV. Well, if your parents knew that you were counting on them to get up and make breakfast and go do something, would they be more motivated? A lot of times, and if we look at the activity of going to work, right, we have to get to work. We got to get somewhere. When you're retired, sometimes there's nowhere to get to unless you have a meeting or an appointment. So how do you motivate your elderly parents to get up and get going? Can you ask them to do something for you? Can they volunteer somewhere? What can they do? Because these daily routines are proven in so many studies to help health and well-being and socialization skills and avoid depression and loneliness and isolation. So the simple act of just getting out of bed, getting dressed, showering, putting on makeup, eating breakfast, taking medications, taking the dog for a walk, calling a friend, doing whatever is hugely beneficial for older parents who may be a little bored and a little isolated. Can they take up a habit? Can they go volunteer? Can they learn how to use a new computer program? What things can they do to help you as their caregiver? So kind of looking at the other side, your elderly parents are super active. All of a sudden there's a change in routine. That change in routine can be a significant warning sign that something is wrong. Are your parents doing less? Why are they doing less? Is it because they don't feel well? Are they having memory loss? Is there something else going on? So investigate that reason for the change with your loved one. And if it's a health issue, schedule a trip to the doctor. If it's isolation or loneliness, help them figure out what to do with their time. Do not ignore the small things, because especially for aging parents and people with health problems, these small things can quickly become huge, huge problems. Number 6, having a routine means sometimes you don't have to think. Routines can conserve your brain power. So think about this. It's something that you plan and you complete and you just don't think about it. So do you the night before just lay out your clothes about what you're going to wear for work the next day. That way you don't have to get up and think about it. It's like, I'm up. Here are my clothes. My lunch is in the freezer. My keys and my wallet or my purse are here, and I am out the door. It's a great start to the day. How can you help your elderly parents create alarms for things like this? Whether it's a reminder alarm clock, whether it's one of those devices that talks to them, says good morning, whether it's a reminder on their cell phone. Teaching parents routines so that it conserves their brain power can be a good thing. Simple things that help you, right? Your parents need you to go to the grocery store. Can they inventory what's in their cabinet and in their refrigerator for you to say, here are the things I need? Or if you know what you routinely buy for parents, create a checklist, give it to them, have them check it off every week. Have them take a picture of the checklist and text it to you. All kinds of time-saving things that, if you are a busy caregiver, can save you a lot of time and conserve your brain power about having to think about, how did I remember to do that? Are my parents making the right list? Am I going to get to the house and they're going to complain that, oh my gosh, I needed this and I forgot to put it on the list? These checklists can all help you to make routine decisions about things so that you don't have to think about it, so that you can use your brain power for much more important things. Number 7, having a routine can help you avoid procrastination. Honestly, how many times do we delay things until it is the 9th hour and we have to get them done because we have so much else going on? Or we delay things that we don't want to do, like maybe we need to go to the dentist to have our teeth cleaned or have a tooth filled or go see the doctor and we don't like going to see the doctor. Well, can you schedule activities that you do, regular activities, on certain days of the week? So, for example, maybe Saturday is laundry day. Tuesday is a day you run errands. Wednesday is grocery shopping. Friday is any kind of doctor appointments or dentist appointments that you would really rather not do, but you know what, you're going to do them on Friday. And maybe you do things with your kids on another certain day or time. That way you kind of compartmentalize these things so that they don't extend from like day to day to day to day. It's like, okay, it's Tuesday, it's Thursday. I get this done today. It's off my list until next week. I don't have to think about it again. So doing and following through with this idea, honestly, you'll see progress in your stress levels and your anxiety levels in just a matter of weeks if you can just get started. You will stop dreading all these things because you'll just check them off the list and you'll gain confidence that, you know what, I thought that was really hard. I could do it. It's done. I'm over. I'm moving on. Same thing for your elderly parents. Your elderly parents probably have a lot of things they don't want to do, especially if they have a lot of health problems. Help them schedule these into days of the week. Put it on a calendar for them, maybe a calendar that they write on, or teach them how to use a calendar on the computer or on their cell phone. Teach them to set reminders for things that they want to do, because number 8 is routines build self-esteem. They build more confidence about doing things that we may not know how to do or things that we're uncomfortable with. The minute that you do it, you've done it. It's not a mystery anymore, and you know that you can do more things. And so for aging parents, all of this uncertainty about things can create a lot of doubts in their mind about whether they can do it or not. If you can just help your parent get started and then check in with them and say, hey, Mom and Dad, how is that thing doing? Are you, let's say that they set up medications in medication boxes and they thought, oh, it's just going to be a hassle. It's going to take too much time. But then they do it and they're like, you know what? This is so easy. I just pop the top, take the pills, and once a week I refill it, right? So much easier. I'm not having to, go through 10 bottles a day and figure out, did I take it? Or I'm not like taking your dad's medications and your dad's not taking my medications. Sometimes it's just a system to streamline things that you have to get started with. So if you have to be the one that goes out and buys the med box and types up a list, this goes in the AM, this goes in the noon, the afternoon, the PM. Do those things because it gives your parents then more confidence that, you know what, this used to be a hassle. I used to hate doing this. Now, you know what, it takes me 15 minutes a week and I am done. But let your parents do it, because when children jump in to do things for parents and you take over those tasks, the opposite happens. Your parents is able to do less. They are less confident in their abilities. They think, oh, you know what, my kids are going to do this, so I'm just going to sit around all day and watch TV because I don't have anything better to do. So help your parents establish routines and do the things that they can still do. Even if it takes them 10 times as long as it takes you, doesn't matter. They're retired. What else do they have to do? Number 9. Routines, progress. Do you ever feel like a week passes or a month passes and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I was going to get this done and I didn't? Or time keeps passing and you're like, my life has not improved. I don't feel better. My parents don't feel better. Their health, in fact, is getting worse. All of these simple daily routines can be beneficial for your parents, and they can build on each other to improve parts of their lives. All of these routines, peace of mind, less stress, better time management, more efficiency, consistency, confidence, everything. The benefit of these routines, even though it can be hard to think of creating them, is that you get where you're going faster. You accomplish what you want to accomplish faster. You look back and say, oh my gosh, a week has passed and look at everything that I have done. And for your parents, these routines again, maybe they used to sit around all day and now they only sit around. Okay, so maybe they used to sit around 6 hours a day. And you put these wall scanners in and you know that they're getting up. And maybe now they're only sitting around 5 hours a day. That's progress. Well, let's not get it to 4 hours next week and then 3 hours and then they're sitting less, right? So it's these gauges of activity that can help both the caregiver and people who are aging with health problems manage their health. Now, it can be a little difficult to encourage parents to create positive routines, especially if they've never had to. But if you do it for yourself and you show progress, like, hey, Mom or Dad, I started making meals for myself and it saves me so much time because I can, do this. Why don't we think about doing this for you? Or why don't I get the groceries and you can think about doing this for you? That way, on Saturday at noon, you're making meals for the week and you know what? You're done. You don't have to worry about what you're going to eat all week because it's there. So these proven habits, these proven processes, these proven routines can actually free up your time, right? Because you're not then thinking, oh, I have to do this today, and then you're putting it off, and it's like, I don't want to do it. The other thing is if you have these routines in place, everybody else in your life can benefit. Your spouse, your children, your parents, people at work, they know what to expect. This helps you all balance your crazy work life caregiving responsibilities. Now, in a family, you may need your spouse or your children to participate in the routines, right? So if your kids have to be off to school at a certain time because you have to be to work and you've got to leave by 7 o'clock to drop them off to get to work, can your children set out their clothes the night before? Can they make their lunch the night before? What else can they do so that when they roll out of bed at 6 o'clock, they are ready by 7 so you are out the door? Same thing with your spouse. How can you work together to do these things? Because caregiving, once it happens, if you have a spouse and children, it is a family project. It affects your entire family. So how can you get other people in your life to help you with all these caregiving responsibilities? Establishing routines. Again, you may be the primary caregiver for a parent, but it affects everything else in your life. You know this because you are so stressed and anxious all the time. So make sure that you identify routines that can be time-saving. Identify routines where other people can be involved that save you time. And put that time on your calendar. And notice how much free time you have. Maybe you can actually go visit a friend or go get your hair cut or go to the doctor, get your teeth cleaned. Do something for yourself. So to kind of bring all these 10 tips together, by identifying routines, creating them, and committing to them, you can help everybody be aware of routines, understand what to expect. You can reduce your stress levels and the stress levels of other people. I thank you so much for being here. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. Information about me, my personal life, my caregiving career is below. Please, again, like, follow, share my channel, tell other people, comment so that people throughout the world can find these videos and be inspired and be hopeful about all the challenges that many of us face in everyday life regarding caregiving, health, and everything in between. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all again soon in another video.